Welcome to Geek Nerd Tech and Black Hollywood Live. Today, Jeff Bezos adds 2 B's to his fortune. Black Panther invades ComicCon, and Verizon buys Yahoo. Let's go.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Live's Geek Nerd Tech.
Welcome to Geek Nerd Tech, the show we break down tech news, geek news, tech news, and nerd culture from a black and brown geek perspective. I'm Joe Braswell. I'm joined for the first time in a cool minute by my man Achilles Shine, vice versa. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Yes, sir. Out here in lovely LA, living large.
LA.
Looking good, man. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's hot.
Summertime.
In Los Angeles. What are we listening to right now?
It's off the Khaled album, DJ Khaled, man. It's called Hold the Keys. It's a really dope track with Big Sean and Kendrick Lamar.
Oh.
It's the hottest track that's out right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would not know what that is because I am behind.
Yes, sir.
I think the last track I heard was I don't even know. Anyway, glad to be back. Glad to be here together in the room. Lots of tech news to discuss, but I want to before I get into the tech news, which kind of leads into our first story, I want to ask you, your thoughts on the DNC. If you had a chance to check out any of the speeches, any of the stuff, Obama's speech, Michelle's speech, obviously Bill and Hillary's speeches. Any quick thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you juxtapose it from the RNC, like you definitely see how the country is divided and split, in terms of values and just overall perceptions or maybe misperceptions. But definitely from the DNC, the tone is much more positive and more affirming to what it means, quote unquote, to be an American and what we emulate to the rest of the world. I think the speeches were phenomenal. I think they were representative of collectivity and unity and bringing about, a different transformation in our country. My favorite speech out of the whole bunch were obviously the Obamas. I think they killed it. They murdered it. Michelle's speech was out of control. Barack's was just smooth and just elegant, man. It's just on point and historical. It's a moment in time. It's awesome.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Michelle's speech was amazing because it's pointed out to me that speech had no policy in it.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult to do, but no policy in it whatsoever. And the people that were kind of going out saying like, well, why does she have to mention slaves? And the slaves, I think Bill O'Reilly actually said, well, those slaves were well fed and taken care of. Yeah. Like, that's alarming to me still. I mean,
it's outrageous.
I know Bill O'Reilly is not exactly the most progressive brother around, but like that's
brother.
I mean, progressive gentleman around, but that's outrageous. But actually, last night I've been a little busy, but last night decided it was important for me to stay up, and so I went from about 1 a.m. till about 4:30 a.m. watching speeches, and I had to get through them all. I mean, I saw Michelle's, but I had to get through. I did 1 to 4. I did Obama, Bill, and Hillary to catch up.
Yeah. And
the Obama speech was, like you said, it was historic. This is one for the ages. I mean, it was really the mic drop on 8 years.
Yeah.
A good bookend to when he came 8 years ago. I mean, it's extremely eloquent and elegant.
12 years ago.
12 years ago. I'm sorry. Thank you. For the first time.
Yeah.
8 years in office. But yeah, I mean, it was. I dare say it's one of the best speeches of all time. Hillary gave one of the best speeches she's ever given. And I think Bill was Bill. I think he was great. But man, Obama and Michelle. I mean, I don't know. But I digress. I just wanted to mention those things that they were are still fresh in my mind because it was just a few hours ago for me. Yeah, absolutely. I can't stop thinking about it. But as it relates to tech news, the DNC decided this year to to do its own thing for the first time. They actually decided to have their own streaming, sort of not only network but program. Channel what's it called? Channel 2016. Is that what it's called? Am I making that up?
Election 2016, I believe.
Yeah, Studio 2016. Yeah, Studio 2016, where they had a full blown like set, a la MSNBC or anything else. They had the couch, they had the set, they had multiple guests coming on, America Ferrera, some others, and it's kind of it's a way for the Hillary campaign and the Democrats sort of speak directly to their people. I think it's kind of a good idea.
Absolutely, definitely a good idea, and not just their people, but younger people, millennials. They want to be able to capture audiences that aren't, viewing and getting information from, traditional modes of communication, i.e. television, newspaper, whatever. So a lot of the kids are on their Twitter, getting news from their Twitter feeds or Facebook feeds, and so they want to be able to have content that, supplies them in that form. And I think that's what's really cool about it, to politicize younger folks, because oftentimes, like, we are apathetic, or we don't feel that, that the people that are representing us are truly representing us. And so I think having the languaging and the channel in which, I guess, things are being communicated to is more palatable for a younger audience. So I think that's great.
Yeah, my daughter's in town my youngest daughter is in town the last 3 days, and I mean, I've never felt older in terms of media. Like, she is completely dialed in, but everything I'm saying, like, she doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about when I say, did you watch the thing on MSNBC?
Right.
Like, is it on? Like, everything is online. Exactly. So she's not tuning into MSNBC or CNN for that matter, not through traditional means. If it's not coming to her phone, not directly, it's not coming to her phone or her laptop, she's probably not going to get it, And so this does speak to that to that generation, and I think it's great. I also think that the production values, everything is kind of converging. I mean, the production values on this stuff are now rival broadcast.
Yeah,
and I think it's just kind of a new day. It's been a new day for a long time.
Yeah.
But that was one of my takeaways from ComicCon, is that, like, it's a new day in terms of these OTTs and, like, people actually spending money and things looking real and spending real money to rival broadcasts. And it's like it's the first time I've actually seen that. I've heard it talked about for years. First time I'm actually seeing it happen with stuff like this. So
yeah, I think this is also great because of the confluence of how they're telling the story. Not only are they doing like traditional like news setups where you or interview setups where they're giving you a behind the scenes look. They even brought the camera into, I think, Hillary's green room to kind of show what the moments were like before she went up on stage to deliver her speech. Like, those things are interesting.
Yep.
And taking the model from like an award show is kind of like what they're doing with with this political campaign. And I think that is excellent because people want to see like the stuff that can be considered exclusive, or they want a VIP experience. And so I think that is what's winning for them. And it also humanizes Hillary and those that are oftentimes far away from us. And I think that bridges community and just makes it all around just better value for the consumer.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely stuff that, like, broadcasters to sort of get its act together. It just amazes me that most traditional broadcasts, especially the big four, still haven't quite figured this out. They try, even with stuff like the Grammys, they try to do like multiple feeds and behind the scenes and digital stuff, and it's never right.
Yeah,
like all this money and all these resources, they cannot get it right. It just boggles my mind.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. Moving on. How do we have this infographic study about social media, Trump versus Clinton, how they stack up on Twitter and Facebook and others, and all the data seems to say that people like Trump better and more than Hillary, which is interesting. I wonder, does that have to do with his level of engagement or the level of people that engage? I mean, in my opinion, it's it's more the Facebook crowd. People engage. It feels like people are really, really active in engaging and talking about, politics, specifically Trump and restoring America via Facebook. But I guess it's Twitter as well. I don't know. What do you?
I mean, I wouldn't go as far to say that engagement means engagement translates to what they'll do in the voting booth. I mean, yeah, I think Trump is polarizing. He's an entertainment goon, so he's going to say stuff that's going to make you want to watch and listen and maybe retweet. Like, did you hear that? Did you see that? Doesn't mean that you have alignment with him. Doesn't mean that you agree with him. Doesn't mean that you're going to actually give him your vote. Right. So, I mean, I think he's definitely I think his Facebook numbers is double that of Hillary's. His Twitter followers are double that of Hillary. He hasn't spent $1 on any TV ads. All his money that he has spent has been on social media. So most of his campaign expenses are going towards that. So I think he's a mastermind when it comes to using media. And I mean, there's a juxtaposition between what Hillary does on social media and what Donald Trump does on social media. Hillary will actually give factual statistical information in her tweets. Trump will make personal attacks. So yeah, I mean, from a person that's not as well informed, or maybe wants just some form of entertainment, that's more attractive. Oh, look at what he's saying. Like, he's creating a fight. He's creating a shitstorm. I'm gonna follow that versus trying to get some educational element out of it. But when it comes down to the election day, and when you go into the voting booth, I highly doubt that's going to transfer over. So
unless you can tweet your votes. I agree. I think that, like, you make a good point about the engagement thing. I mean, Hillary kind of made this point in her speech that I watched last night. But it's just like, policy is policy and government is boring. Like, I mean, like, it's exciting to some people. It's not like you want someone. Hillary's thing is she's a policy wonk, and she wants to do things right, and she's an attorney, and she's like wants to get in there and read the fine print and read the entire read the entire I don't know what I'm talking about. Read the entire contract. We read the fine print. And Trump is a headline guy. Trump is a tweet guy. And I think that, like, all the bombastic nature of Trump's tweets and everything he does, as you said, is that is exciting. And Hillary's straightforward policy approach is not. But who do you want, running the country?
Exactly. So, it's exciting. It's fun. It's funny. It's entertaining
right,
to a certain degree. But it's also insulting. It's also promoting a lot of hate mongering, a lot of negativity, and just pollution. And so I think that in the end, it's gonna ruin him. I don't think it's gonna transfer over. As soon as we have 3 or 4 months before election time, I think it's going to become so polarizing that people are really going to be off him. He's going to lose a lot of his corporate sponsors. Sure. He's going to lose all his opportunities. That's what I foresee.
I do too. It's the first time I'm actually really starting to see that. Like, after seeing the two stark differences between the two conventions, and then seeing, like, unfortunately, kind of reading all of the right wing analysis of, like, I mean, the bubble's one thing. Being the right-wing bubble's one thing. Not endorse Trump or not want to stand by Trump's another thing. As Obama says, a contest of ideas between right and left are one thing. But, like, just to be, like, making up shit. How could you look at the Michelle Obama speech and then criticize it? How could you look at that Obama speech and then criticize it? Like, you're looking for shit, and Donald Trump Jr. like, oh, you plagiarized, it's, all this stuff. Like, the any of these speeches, Cory Booker, Bill Clinton, my man Biden, any of these speeches, like, how do you criticize? They're coming from a complete pragmatic place of this is our case and this is how we're going to do things, and also a place of optimism and hope.
But that's the thing. He's not criticizing that. He's criticizing them as people. He's not criticizing what they're saying. Right. He's not criticizing. He's not providing any counter argument to anything. He's not providing any facts. He's not providing a counter argument that requires any philosophy or direction. It's just personal attacks.
Yeah, it's a great point. Which works.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, which works. So we'll see. But anyway, to your point, I agree. I feel like people will be off this. I think it's getting more and more polarizing. But all the remaining Trump supporters, I mean, I feel like it's people will show their true colors, because I think it's getting uglier and uglier as opposed to what you stand for if you still stand with Trump, and what you're fighting for, what America you're trying to restore. Like, at the end of the day, when all the dust settles in November, you're still standing with Trump, then we know who you are,
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of my thought on it. Anyway, moving on. Jeff Bezos is rich. Oh no, we're not there. I mean, Amazon. I'm sorry, Amazon. Back. We go back to Amazon. I'm sorry. Yahoo. I'm sorry. Let's go back to Yahoo. Verizon just bought Yahoo. I'll just quickly. Verizon is just about to buy Yahoo for a cool $5 billion, $4.8 billion, which sounds like a lot of money until you realize that just a short time ago, Yahoo turned down $16 billion, or was it worth $16 billion, and they have had a gigantic, crazy decline. and they never got it right. They never got it right. They were the most visited site in the internet for years. Then Google came and kind of took them off, and Google was the number one site, but Google was the most searched site.
Yeah.
Then they tried to get into the media game, and they didn't do that right. They could not get it right. They have all this potential, all this money, and they went from $16 billion evaluation to being worth 4.8 in a fire sale to Verizon. Like,
well, no, that's not exactly accurate. Like, in that sale is not including their cash crop, which is Alibaba and I think a few other things that they own. They're not including that in the deal. They're going to rebrand that.
Right.
They're going to rebrand that and turn that into something else. So they're not giving away away what most of their stocks and shares are worth.
Okay.
Like, so that's why it's so low.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Thank you for correcting that, because and then Melissa Meyer, who was brought in as a Google genius to sort of blow it up and make Yahoo cool. I mean, it's kind of a failed experiment. So I don't know. I don't really care. I just think it's an interesting thing of something like, I just don't know how Yahoo, the AOL and Yahoo merged, and then now they're both collectively sold for $4.8 billion. This is crazy to me.
I mean, I think this is a conglomerate move. I think what Verizon is doing, being that it's an MSO, it's an ISP, and they're getting into more of the ad game, like where they're able to get all the analytical information about who's on this site and be able to use that to their advantage. Like, I don't think there's been a situation before where MSO has bought a platform like Yahoo or AOL and like both times. You know what I'm saying? That is the thing that is newsworthy to me in terms of what regulations will happen if they'll even let the deal go through because of that, and the consequences of that, because it'll make them bigger than Google in terms of users. Like, you combine all those things together, like it makes them bigger than Google. So is that something they'll allow to happen? Yeah. That's the question that I would put out there.
That's interesting. And obviously, you just said it's all about sort of reaching. It's all about the ads. Like, who now can you reach? For one, that is. I didn't think about that. That's a lot. All right. Now we can move on to rich man Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos added another, I don't know, $2 or $3 billion to his fortune, which it's crazy. But I didn't realize this, actually. I knew Bezos was rich.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize dude was worth $66 billion.
Yeah, he's up there.
Like,
he's the third richest in the world. He's the second richest in America, behind Bill Gates.
He just passed Buffett.
Yeah.
Like, he passed Buffett by $300 million.
Yeah.
I feel like Buffett can make that by this afternoon, but still. Yeah. But so that $66 billion.
Absolutely.
that is I don't know. That's a lot.
You ask yourself, what makes success? Value and influence. He has both. Like, his companies are highly valuable and highly influential. Like, what he's done with Amazon is incredible. It's changed the landscape of everything in terms of how we consume media, how we consume products. Like, I think that number, he deserves that number.
Yeah, for sure. It changed the landscape of everything. It's just one of these things where you think about 15 years ago, there was no Amazon. There was no Bezos. There was no Bezos, right? He is, who knows what he was doing? Maybe he's waiting tables with me, And now a cool, 10 to 15 years later, he's sitting on 66 B's.
Yeah,
that's inspirational. It's interesting.
And there's no sign of slowing down. That's what was really kind of crazy.
It's like he's going to cash out,
And we talk about Facebook all the time, and Zuckerberg, he's fifth. He's fifth place in terms of his net worth. Like, Bezos is killing the game.
He's killing the game in terms of cash. It is interesting when you look at Amazon and Facebook. These guys, Amazon, Facebook, Google. But you look at Amazon versus Facebook. What Facebook is doing in terms of, how they sort of have their tentacles are in everything we do worldwide. Mm-hmm. Amazon they sell us everything and they provide us everything, but they don't have. Maybe they do. I don't know. I guess Amazon does have a lot of the same info we have.
Same what?
Like, same information on us that Facebook has.
Yeah, why wouldn't they? They know our viewing habits. They know our reading habits. They know our shopping habits. Like, Amazon is the closest thing to everything, in my opinion. Everything. They're the supermarket, which has everything. They have options for food, furniture, content. Like, what? Who else is doing that? No one.
Oh, all right.
And they provide the back end for most of these companies.
Yeah.
In terms of their cloud services. Like,
yeah,
they are set up to be They're set up to be the top dog.
And as we've talked about, I mean, they've completely revolutionized the shipping game. Like, so, you know, so look out UPS and FedEx and as we talked about last time, the United States Postal Service, the post office, like Amazon they've revolutionized shipping.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. That's just nuts to me. All right. Next. This is interesting. Oh, new app called, from Channels. It's bring live TV to iOS device. I like this. Right now I am using, I've cut my cords. I'm using Sling TV. I'm not happy with it at all, but I'm using it. I mean, the service is okay. The interface is terrible, especially as it exists through my Xbox. It's a lot of work for me to turn on the Xbox. You know, even if I got it through my phone or my controller, it's just like it's not intuitive. It's not good at all. So I'm going to switch to Channels, which is great through your iOS. But now they're doing more, and it seems like a pretty dope thing.
I don't think it's a dope thing.
No,
I don't think it's a dope thing. Because of what it requires you to do on the hardware side. You have to hook up the device to your router. You need to have a tuner.
Right.
You have to have an Apple TV.
That's true.
It's like, yo, I don't want to have to do all that. And the investment to have all those devices is like, okay. Yeah. And like, I'm completely arguing for, you know, nonlinear programming. I don't need to watch live stuff unless it is an award show, it is a sporting event, or it is some like the DNC or something like that, some type of event, and I could stream that, you know, that's over the top.
Yep.
I can stream that. I don't necessarily need to have a broadcast top box in my house. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's still the old model. I think it's the old model trying to be innovative, but I don't think people will argue that, hey, it's cool. It has a cool interface. It looks dope. It's simple. It has great functionality. But yo, like, what am I watching on that? Like, what really am I watching on that I can't watch anywhere else?
Well, that's very true. I think for me, like, I agree. The live stuff is key for me. Some of the sports and their award show stuff, and I have been able to find most of everything I need live. I've been able to find it through my, you know, combination of Sling and Apple TV and Netflix. Well, not Netflix, Sling and Apple TV, but I do like what I do like is the sort of the TiVo factor, the DVR factor. You can pause, you can stop, you can rewind. That's something I do miss very much. I got spoiled. TiVo has brought that into our world, and now I'm spoiled. I'm watching Sling TV, and I'm trying to pause, I'm trying to rewind. I can't do it. So, you know, it's just frustrating to me.
So you're arguing for what's called shift time viewing, where you have the power to watch how you want to watch, but really, like, so for instance, what would you watch on there where you couldn't watch somewhere else and do the same thing? If I'm streaming it on YouTube, I can go back.
Yes.
I can pause it.
Yeah, if you're streaming on YouTube, if you're watching anything, but if I'm watching programming on CNN, Food Network, I'm talking about just these, MSNBC, Sports Center, and you're watching this stuff, like, you don't, those aren't really available through those streaming services. So I'm watching Sports Center and I want to, see that thing again.
But we talk about this all the time. How many times do you actually watch Sports Center?
Well, that's the point. That's the point. Well, I think all of this will be moot because this fall Apple is launching their own shit, and it's going to be they're going to have like 15 channels on Apple TV, just right there. So so I mean, I think this, so when they do that, when they get ABC, NBC, and all these other channels, sports, ESPN, right on the Apple TV, I mean, you know, that's going to change the game right then and there. So I don't know. I guess my as we talk about it, you're 1,000% right. But I will say, I guess my only thing is in comparison to Sling TV, you can make the argument against Sling TV.
So you're saying this is a Sling TV killer?
I don't. I think Apple. I think Apple's going to kill them all in the fall. It's not going to matter. But it is a Sling TV killer. Sling TV needs to get their act together. But they're kind of the only game in town. And why? Well, you know, they're the only place that says, "Hey, we can give you, 30 channels, 30, 40 channels, including, Stars and HBO and stuff and sports, and we can give it to you for $14 a month."
Yeah.
So like,
that is a deal.
So that they're the only game in town saying that. So if I gotta like hook it through my hook it to my phone, to my iPad, to get it to my Xbox and watch it on my controller, then that's what I do. But it's ridiculous. I will admit it's ridiculous. But it's still getting my $14. I don't know why. All right. But your points are valid. Next, there is this. Watch this. This trailer is ridiculous. So there's AI software that's writing the perfect horror script. There is. I mean, this is kind of, I don't know how much of a gimmick this is, but apparently there's this AI software that is analyzing all of the best things or the scariest things that people were most scared about in horror movies, the creepiest things, taking all those and putting all those different moments into a script and saying that this may be the creepiest thing out there. There's a trailer for this, which is essentially the trailer plays like a SNL sketch. It plays like a gumbo of like every horror movie you ever saw. You know, it's like at 3:00 she goes in the bathtub and then looks in the mirror and says Candyman, and then outside is Michael Myers.
It's terrible.
You know, it's like, it's ridiculous. But I don't know the point. It seems gimmicky, but I don't know. What do you think of this?
I mean, it's definitely gimmicky. I agree with that. However, I do see the usability of it once it further develops, because all it is using the AI or using the bot technology to kind of do a scan on consumer behavior, what people like and dislike, what their preferences are, and say, okay, well, based on your viewing habits or based on your buying habits or based on what you read or post through social, these are the type of interests you have. So let's create a story, a narrative based on that. So I think that could be very useful in terms of crafting, narrative storytelling that's unique or different, and that could you could center in on an audience. It might be a niche audience, but you could center in and have a kind of a co-writer that is a robot helping you.
Yeah.
Giving you that insight and that research that might speed up the creative process for yourself. I can see the usefulness of that.
I mean, but it's not like, here, write the script and I'm making it.
The first script by a robot that wins an Oscar.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just, but you do make a good point though. Like, if they give you all this data and research, and then someone with some brain and creativity can use that to inform them, that makes sense to a certain degree. But the trailer is hilarious though. The trailer is like,
so it's a fail.
To me, it's a super fail. It's an SNL sketch. It's a super fail. All right. The first solar powered plane has completed its flight around the world. It's a 25,000 mile journey. It started a year ago. They took off in March of 2015. Yeah. They made 16 stops without using a drop of fuel. Yeah. And they logged over 500 hours of flight.
That's awesome.
Like, this is insane.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. We covered this before.
Yeah, we did. Well, I mean, it's been a year.
Yeah.
So they just landed in Abu Dhabi. I still can't wrap my head around this because, I mean, looking at their cockpit, it's not exactly first class accommodations.
Oh, it's it's a very small plane when you juxtapose it to a 747. Like, they even said like it weighs like maybe 5,000 pounds versus a 747 is like 500,000.
Right.
But the point is that this has never been done before, using renewable energy, using solar power to fuel a means of transportation in the air, a plane without having any type of fossil fuel, gasoline, anything. And I think that the fact that it went around the world, even though it took a hell of a long time, just shows the potential of what this could create as new infrastructure for the flight industry. I think that's super fresh.
So they've only touched the ground 16 times in 365 days. Is that am I reading that right?
I believe that's accurate. I mean, because the plane, from my understanding, does not travel fast.
Right.
It's going about maybe 100 miles per hour.
Yeah, something like that. It's like 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends. Well, actually, the average, the cruising speed is 28 miles an hour. That's slow.
Like there's no pressurized cabinet. Yeah. Like they can't go too far up. Like So
when they're really getting it, when they're really cooking, they go 90. That's not fast. Yeah. Especially over the ocean. Yeah. Especially when you're crossing the that's kind of nerve wracking. Crossing like the Atlantic Ocean going 28 miles an hour.
I forgot the guy's name, one of the co-pilots, but there was two pilots. They traded off. But one of the pilots, like, he has a long family lineage of this type of exploration. Like, his father was one who I think he went around the world in a hot air balloon. And his grandfather. And then his father explored like the deepest trench in the ocean. Now he's flying a solar powered plane around the world. Like, I just love the fact that they're taking on like these huge endeavors and trying to propel and push forward, I guess, technology. I think it's super fresh.
Wow, I had no idea.
I forgot his name.
Is it Picard? No.
Yeah.
Picard, what's it?
Yeah, that's him. Picard. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's even they're sponsored by Moet Hennessy, and there's even a commercial that they're running now. They've been running for months, that communicates the grandfather and father's experiences and achievements. But man,
Picard. I mean,
keeping it going.
Does that mean his future relative 300 years in the future is Picard from the Enterprise?
That's kind of funny.
One of the greatest explorers ever.
That's kind of funny.
There's some link there. I got Star Trek on the brain. Okay, next, Carpool Karaoke, which seems like with just about feels like it's about to jump the shark. Like it just feels like it's at its apex. Like there's a moment in these digital shorts when the apex moment is when usually Obama comes on. I don't care if it's like comedians in cars, getting coffee, or Mark Maron or whatever, Obama, but between two firms. Like I feel like by the time Obama gets there, it's like, all right, is it cool? Does it make it cooler, or does that mean it's on its way down? This is my personal theory. Carpool Karaoke has reached that. Anyone has been in that car. James Corden, who is amazing, who I love, by the way. And then Michelle Obama shows up. Now, nobody's cooler than Michelle Obama, but I thought like, okay, this may be the end. This might be the end of Carpool Karaoke. Because what else could they do? Who else are going to get in there? But I'm wrong. They're making it an Apple TV show. Mm-hmm. Like much like comedians in cars getting coffee with Jerry Seinfeld. That's nominated for Emmys and shit. Like it's a whole separate story. 16 episode series is gonna stream on Apple Music. Yeah. Not even on iTunes. Yeah. Not even on Apple Music, which I have. So what do you think about this?
I think it's awesome. I think this is taking the business model of how lip sync battle started with Jimmy Fallon. It started on his show, and then he took that idea and pitched it and got shut down. I forgot what network, but then Spike picked it up, and that show is highly successful. Exactly. So I think the business model is the same with this. I mean, shit, just off of his show alone, like, and just this segment of his show has gotten over 500 million views. Like Adele was the biggest one. This is like the second. I saw a few of them with Stevie Wonder. Like they're funny. They're hella entertaining.
Yeah, I've seen them all.
I think it could definitely work. And I think it's a great segue for Apple Music. A great way for an artist to promote their song. A great way for there to be some type of fan interaction. I think it's entertaining. I think it's good content. Like it makes you laugh. It makes you want to be involved. Like I can't really criticize it. Like it's fun. It's just fun.
I got nothing. Me too. It's my wonder out loud of like, is this the end of of Carpool Karaoke? They're like, oh, it's a TV series. I'm very happy. I'm all on board. I'm all in on this. I'm all in on James Corden. All in on all this stuff. I think is funny. He's talented. It's all good. But one more question while we're here. Like it makes you wonder about the future of like Apple TV in terms of Apple Music. Like you made a good point about Apple Music keeps providing these places for artists to promote. I mean, obviously Apple, the Beats One Radio, with Juliana Nuga and Zane and Arbro, like people come in the show all the time, promoting, and like it's a very good. So this is another means for this. But does this mean we're going to see a lot of music generated series get greenlit on Apple TV, and is Tidal going to follow? I mean, Tidal released that Beyonce joint exclusively. Like, what does this mean for these streaming services?
I mean, I think for Apple Music, it's imperative for them to develop ancillary content like this, because it only keeps people within the app longer, and also it gives better potentiality for the artists to make money. And it exposes it increases their influence and value. So I think that that's why we had a conversation a few weeks back about Apple potentially trying to buy Tidal because of that. Like they're creating moments, they're creating experiences that are exclusive, that people want to be a part of and view and interact with. And so I think having like as an ancillary content that goes along with a great song or a great record, I think it only adds value to everybody, the artist, the consumer, and the platform. So I think that's why Tidal is still even a part of our conversation, because they've done a great job of doing that. And I think Apple is trying to innovate in that space, and they haven't yet cracked that. And so this is the first attempt at doing that. I know they have the Dr. Dre show they developed. I don't know when that's coming out. They've done a few other things. They actually done a concert with DJ Khaled. Mm-hmm. I think it's one other thing. They did something with Taylor Swift, I believe. Yep. But nothing like really earth-shattering yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's interesting. I'm wondering, like, because Apple TV or Apple in general is developing original programming. So I mean, there's that announcement that my two favorite people, Ben Silverman and will.i.am, have a TV show coming to Apple. So I don't know, man. It's interesting, like where they live in the ecosystem. Do I go to Apple? Do I go to iTunes to get stuff? Do I go to Apple Music to watch stuff? Do they switch? It's kind of a very similar thing what HBO and HBO Now is doing. You have HBO Now, HBO Go are three separate entities, but they all kind of live together. So it's interesting.
I mean, but even now, like on iTunes, you can watch all the music videos right there. So I think this type of content would live there. In terms of the content that's more TV centric, it would live maybe in a different place.
Yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, it's all this stuff is really fascinating to me, and it's where it all goes. Moving forward, so ComicCon would happen over the weekend. I was there for a very long time, too long. Like being in ComicCon too long is like being in Vegas too long. When I realized, I was there since Wednesday to Sunday, which is way too long. But one of the cool things that did happen there, one of the many cool things is. Our guy Ryan Coogler was there with his whole cast, and it was very cool to see them all there talking about Black Panther, but not just Coogler, but Michael B. Jordan and Lupita Nyong'o and my boy Chadwick Boseman, and it was cool. I mean, it's the idea of having 5 black folks together. My girl from Walking Dead, which I can't remember her name. I can't remember her name, but anyway, yeah, it was cool to see, and they've announced some character development and some folks, and yeah, it's exciting.
Super exciting. It's going to be awesome. I think just in terms of the history of a black director, black cast, black superhero, all that is just great.
Yeah.
It's great for the ecosystem of superhero movies and content, like to have some diversity, and then to have this introduced at Comic-Con, further diversifying Hall H, because we've never seen, this is historical, we've never seen a black lineup have this type of visibility. And so I already know Coogler's going to kill it. He's a scientist. He's going to really be very detail oriented and make it the best. And I love the cast. And I just think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be awesome. I can't wait for it.
I agree. I'm really, really excited about that. And there's much more stuff there, but this was definitely kind of a cool thing to see. Moving on, MTV. If you like your classic MTV, your 90s MTV, I'm an 80s MTV guy myself because I'm
Gen
old.
X.
But MTV Classic is coming. It's going to launch August 1st. It allows you to get all the cool stuff that you missed, like it's Singled Out and Beavis and Butthead and all that stuff. It was a great idea. What's wrong with this? I'll watch it. I'm old.
That's definitely a great idea to have the Classico implemented. I think and especially as they're targeting younger folks,
right,
to give them kind of a nostalgic feel, and everything always comes back full circle. But I think to the point you're alluding to, like why not expand it to the Gen Xers? Yeah. Why not go back even further to giving content from the 80s? Why not just make it music videos again?
Yeah.
Why not just play old award shows again? Go all the way back. Give us the history. Give us all of that.
Yeah.
Why cap it off at the 90s or start it off at the 90s?
Yeah. I think it's clear. Well, I think there's probably two reasons. I'm sure there's some sort of, because that was a whole different regime then. But I think that it's clear that they, the Gen Xers, and I'm one of them, aren't the baby boomers. We don't spend the money like the baby boomers did. I'm assuming
that's the point. Everyone's serving the baby boomers and the millennials.
Yeah.
Who's serving the Gen Xers?
Nobody.
Exactly. So why not get in that space?
Exactly. You're preaching to the choir on that one. I agree. But they are going to bring back. They have some classic shows, Daria, Cribs, Beavis and Buttheads, whatever. But they're bringing back MTV Unplugged and Storytellers, which were favorites, and it was good to see. But yeah, I don't know. MTV Unplugged in this day and age, there's not a lot of unplugged cats to see. It'll be interesting to see what
you mean?
Well, I mean, there's not as many. I guess we'll see the different versions. Like a Kendrick Lamar Unplugged would be interesting to see. What I'm saying, there's not exactly a bunch of bands anymore. I don't know a bunch of bands, like a bunch of live musicians running around right now.
Well, what are you suggesting? You're suggesting that MTV is going to bring back the franchise and have new content develop? I took it as they're going to just play old throwback stuff.
I thought that they're bringing back, the way I understood it, is they're bringing back all the old stuff, but then they're bringing back those two, Storytellers and Unplugged, as new.
So as
well as old. I could be wrong about that. I can't. They said the returns of, along with the returns of MTV Unplugged and some live concert videos. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I mean, but to say, let's theorize and say they did bring it back in for a new reiteration. I think there's tons of bands out there that would fit perfectly with that format. I would love to see a Kendrick Unplugged.
Me too.
I would love to see that. That would be incredible.
Yeah, I would love to. I would too. It feels like that the era doesn't speak to that, but I guess we will all be pleasantly surprised when.
I don't know. I disagree. I think we're in the era of live performances. People want to see those intimate. Like performances. Jay-Z did his Reasonable Doubt concert in a small place. Like people want to see that.
You're 1,000% right. Like, and this is. I mean, we're in the summer of festivals. There's every year there's like 10 more festivals added. So people love live music. I mean, that's the way for artists to make money. But like, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You're 1,000% right. Moving on. Mary Poppins, something I'm actually very excited about. I'm going to out myself and say that I'm a huge Mary Poppins guy. I got 3 girls, but even before that, I'm a huge Mary Poppins guy. So I'm very excited about the new iteration, Mary Poppins Returns. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Mary Poppins Returns with Lin-Manuel Miranda and Emily Blunt. I'm really excited about this, but even more exciting, Meryl Streep has joined the cast. I don't know how this is going to go wrong. This is one of those things that on paper,
right, it looks awesome.
Rob Marshall's directing. Like he knows how to direct stage to screen. Emily Blunt's perfectly cast. Lin-Manuel Miranda. I mean, what do you want from him?
Exactly.
And then you add Meryl Streep. Like, I'm gonna jinx it right now, but how can this fail? I don't know.
You have no arguments for me on that one. I think that this could be explosive for those that love this Mary Poppins franchise. I think it's dope.
I will say that people are concerned. It's always dicey, whatever the property is, when you bring it back, either a reboot or a rehash or return after X amount of years.
Right.
It's always dicey. I think this is going to be good though, so we'll see. I feel like there's just too many good things happening. Yeah. And then last but not least, I think this is last but not least, we're gonna go to it's a quick ComicCon recap. I mean, I don't know. I was there. I was there. I mean, you obviously weren't there because I would have saw you. You would have been with me. I would have been with you. But there's a lot of stuff that happened. Actually, there's a lot of cool things that came out this time around in terms of films. I was really the Suicide Squad stuff. It looks amazing, but I'm really mostly excited about the DC. The Warner Brothers had a really, really good panel with Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman and Justice League. And the Justice League trailer looks really good. I mean, looked really good, and they're really trying to infuse some humor. There was probably like, I think 3 or 4 laugh moments in the trailer. So they're trying to show that, hey, we can be funny too, like the Avengers. We're not all dark. And it played really well, and the Wonder Woman thing looks dope, and the Suicide Squad thing looks incredible. So, I mean, that my takeaway, and then of course, the TV side, Flash, Green Arrow, Legends, and Supergirl couldn't be bigger as well. I feel like DC is kind of on a rise. This was the year of DC. I mean, because Marvel didn't really have anything except for Black Panther,
Luke Cage,
well, and of course, and Luke Cage, of course, and the Defenders and Iron Fist. But aside from feature wise, so Marvel had, ironically, the black folks. They had Luke Cage and Black Panther.
Yeah,
that's pretty strong. I didn't think about that. Mm-hmm. And DC came out too. And also DC is also getting, Marvel's got the black folks, but DC's got the black folks and DC's got the women. I think this is a strong showing for DC.
I agree.
That was one of the cool things that was one of my big takeaways. Anything you saw that you saw online that you.
We already covered it with Black Panther. I think that was a highlight for me, just seeing recaps of that. The Wonder Woman trailer, I think, is fresh to death. I can't wait to see Will and what his acting chops is in this new movie, Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm.
As a bad guy, technically,
yeah,
but he's still so charismatic. He's Will Smith in the whole thing, really, but he's a bad guy,
right?
So,
but yeah, I mean, I think I would say that the top bill for me is definitely Black Panther. Mm-hmm. We gotta wait a whole year and some change for it, but I think it's going to be earth shattering.
Yep.
So
I will mention that.
And what about you? What were the top dogs for you?
Well, I have to say, I mean, this is I am, and we are been working on this Star Trek documentary that for History Channel, and I got the opportunity to go down and go to the premiere of Star Trek Beyond, and that experience was pretty fantastic. It was an outdoor IMAX screen, the first outdoor IMAX, largest screen outside. They had a live orchestra doing the music. The entire cast was there. It was hosted by Conan O'Brien, and it was a beautiful night right on the water. 3,000 fans. I mean, as a spectacle, laser show, fireworks, and then the movie. And so I think that was a highlight. A lot of Star Trek stuff went down, but I gotta stick to the DC stuff because I'm a DC guy. So it's really good to see DC trying to make an uptick. TV wise, there's a bunch of TV stuff. Actually bought a bunch of comics this time around too. Actually went old school and went on the floor and walked the floor and bought a bunch of comics. I bought a poster, bought a Karate Kid poster. Like I went in.
Got your fanboy on?
I got my fanboy. I haven't done that. I haven't really done that because I was there for 5 days. Right. Shit. But like I did have a time to do that, and that was good. And I don't know. ComicCon is it's big. That's all I can say. It's just big. My big takeaway from ComicCon though, but what I will say is that like we touched on this earlier is there, when we went 3 or 4 years ago, there was, there's Nerd HQ and there's a couple things that were happening that you can go. This year, everybody who's anybody, aside from networks, all these OTTs are now coming in, and even not even OTTs, like IMDb has a stage and a yacht, and Entertainment Weekly has a thing,
That's
and
smart.
magazine. So if you're promoting something, not only Hall H, but you've got to make the rounds to like 10 places now.
It's like Coachella.
Yeah,
like all the brands are there. You go to party to party, and you schmooze with each of the brands. Same thing with this, like because I mean they're brands.
Yeah,
and and you do your thing.
They all have, like stages with experience, but like but cameras. They all streaming something, so they all have coverage. Is what I mean. Some sort of like, come sit down on my couch and let's have a chit chat, and it's going to stream out to everyone.
They all have panels. You're saying?
Yeah. And then, but like they're streaming live to all like IMDb. Log on IMDb. There's like 15 things you're watching. Yahoo. Everyone has it, and so in ComicCon HQ, which is their new thing, they have a huge presence there, and which is owned by Lionsgate.
I would say it's more like South by Southwest than Coachella.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. It's getting more like South by Southwest. But I'm just surprised at how many OTTs are there with giant stages and giant cameras.
Right, the OTTs got bread. They got bread. Why wouldn't they be there?
I'm just seeing this. That's my point. I'm opening my eyes to, these guys have all this money to sit out and build giant stages and have 15 cameras do an interview. With so-and-so, and they're doing that they're just hopping around, doing that all day long. So it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. And everything we know, Nerd HQ, Nerdist, everything's just bigger.
I mean, 4 years ago, we didn't have Facebook Live. We didn't have the streaming technology the way it is now. Like, so, I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with just the technology we have and just how people's viewing habits and awareness of how to use the technology. I think people want that type of content because it seems like it's more inclusive and more exclusive at the same time.
Right.
So,
well, that's so that's that. Comic-Con, I mean, who knows next year? I don't know what it's going to be, but it just keeps getting bigger, so we'll see. That's all I got. Anything else?
Yeah, man. Stranger Things.
Yeah,
so freaking cool, man. So freaking cool.
I've been hearing about. I know nothing about Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, you gotta catch up on that.
Everyone I know, they do a big show here.
Yeah.
I think Roxy and them have the official show for Netflix here at our sister network AfterBuzz, and everybody's buzzing about it at Comic-Con. Like, you're the fourth person within 4 days who's asked me about it.
Stranger Things is the best. Man, I can't. I mean, in terms of the Netflix portfolio of original content, I would say Orange is the New Black obviously is up there. But this joint is so great. It's so awesome. I mean, because it's a throwback to the 80s. It's like everything you want in a TV show. It's everything you want. I think it's for kids. It's for adults. Like it's just dope, man. Wow. Everything about it is dope. And I'm not trying to give spoilers or whatever, but yeah, I would highly recommend seeing it, binge watching it, and yeah, all that good stuff.
What the? Okay, well, I'm doing that. That's highly recommended. I will say, I can't remember the last time that you, Achilles Shine, recommended a TV show like this. Like,
right, this is up there.
So
this is good.
This is the highest of recommendations for me. I got to start watching it right now.
It's dope.
Okay. That's exciting. All right. Well, shoot. There it is. I think that's all we got. Oh, Born tonight. I haven't had time. Usually I would have saw it already.
Right.
But I decided it was either Born or the Democratic Convention, so I did that. So if I'm not dead, I might try to watch it tonight. We'll see.
Right, there it is.
Are you going to see it this weekend?
I would hope so. I would hope to.
Okay.
Yeah, if I have availability, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. That's all we got. We will see you next week. It's good to be back, and you guys be safe out there. That's all I got, right? All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.